Hey, it's Timothy. Hey, I'm glad to be with you. And I got some really good things I believe that will help you. It's called Breaking Free, the Hidden Dangers of Strife You Didn't See Coming. So there's some hidden dangers that you don't see coming about the area of strife. Now, I want to discuss that with you because I believe it'll make change in your life. This is one of the areas that really helped me have breakthrough. But one of the things I want to clarify as we first start this is that everything you receive must be based on Jesus' works and not yours. And even though you stop doing something that's contrary to his word, and for instance, if you quit stealing, okay, I'm not going to steal anymore. Not that you stole anything, but I'm using that as an example, is then you can't go to God and he'll answer your prayers because you don't steal anymore. It has to be based on what Jesus has done for you and not what you've done for him. It has to be based on his works and not your works. But your works opens the door to the devil, and that's what we're dealing with. So even though you stop doing something, even though you make a decision not to get in strife anymore, it will not then automatically cause your prayers, in other words, just things start to come to you. You still got to trust God. You still got to claim the promises. You still got to find the promises. I would find the promises. You know, he tells you that he supplies all of your needs according to his riches and glory, according to Philippians 4:19. He's the one that will supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory, according to his riches, not your riches, according to his riches. And then you find there's other promises that you find. So what we're dealing with is the hidden dangers of strife. We found out as we go to James 3:16 is that where there's strife, there'll be confusion and every evil work. That every evil work covers everything from sickness and disease and poverty. I can tell you right now, if you make a decision to be strife-free, you'll find that your prayers will work much easier. That's the only thing that I know that will hinder your prayers from working is unforgiveness, and which strife, it's a form of strife because you're not forgiving someone. In fact, if you read Matthew's Gospel, the 6th chapter, verses 14 to 15, and then Mark's Gospel, if you read it, just let me read Matthew here for you. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But then in verse 16, but if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your heavenly Father forgive your trespasses. He says the same thing over in Mark's Gospel, the 11th chapter, verses 25 and 26, says if you don't forgive men their trespasses, God will not forgive you. Okay, so that means that the word forgive means that you do it first. It means if you get into a spat, you need to get out of it, because if you don't forgive, then God doesn't forgive you. Now, that's pretty tough language. I mean, that's pretty serious. So one of the things that the devil knows to do is to get somebody not to like you, somebody to cause you trouble, somebody to come against you, somebody that will agitate you, somebody that will cause you to have issues in your life, and then you'll get an unforgiveness, you'll get into strife, and when you get into strife, you open the door to sickness, disease, and poverty. Strife should scare you worse than a rattlesnake. Strife should scare you worse than anything that you could possibly think of in the areas of dangers. It opens the door to cancer. It opens the door to sickness, because you have the willingness to get into strife means you have the willingness to have unforgiveness in you. And so you have to make a decision that you're not going to get an unforgiveness. You're going to forgive. You're going to forgive and forget, by the blood and power of Jesus. His power and his blood can cleanse your heart so that you'll be able to walk in that forgiveness. It's an act of faith, but I'm not going through that right now. What I'm going through is to deal with you about the dangers of strife. So the devil knows that. So what he's got to do is he's got to get somebody that he will pressure, and they don't even know they're being pressured by the devil. They don't even know that what they're feeling is not them. They don't understand why, but they just don't like you. They don't want to have anything to do with you. And if it comes to somebody at work, they will lie against you, and you're wondering, what did I do to cause that? And the reason that it was done by the devil to get you in trouble with God, to get you into trouble so he can open the door. In fact, 2 Timothy, the second chapter, Timothy was the pastor at Ephesus. So Paul would write these letters to Timothy, 1st and 2nd Timothy, and then also at Ephesus, We have the book of Ephesians, that's Ephesus. So if you look at the book of Ephesians, that's where Timothy pastored. Now, they had a couple other pastors besides Timothy, but Timothy was the main pastor there when Paul was writing to Timothy. So he's giving him some instruction in the second chapter of 2 Timothy. He said that those that get into strife, they're opposing themselves, and then they're taken captive by the devil at the devil's will. In other words, at the devil's will, because you get into strife, you're opposing yourself. You're the one opposing yourself. You're the one causing the issues, and then the devil can take you captive at his will. Now, is this serious? I would think this is serious. And that's the only area that I know. I don't see that in other types of sin. So God takes this strife and unforgiveness pretty serious. He's very, very serious about you loving people. That's one of the things that I have found out by walking with Jesus, and even the times that he's appeared to me, is he walks in love. He loves everybody. I mean, he just loves everybody. People that I would not think that he would love. He loves people. Okay, he loves people. He loves people. People that's beyond our capable of being able to even like. He loves people. And so the devil knows then to get you in trouble with Jesus, to get you into a situation to where he can take you captive at his will, he will find something to use against you. Now, when I first moved here to Oregon in 1969, I came in 1969 to visit a sister and for some other reasons that summer, and I met my wife, Donna Marie, and the next year we got married. Okay, we've been inseparable for all those years, okay? I mean, even before we were married, you seen one, you seen the other one. We were very close at that point. But one of the things after I got married, my brother-in-law, Dick Luttrell, and his brothers, Dale Luttrell, and their brothers, they were raised in the mountains. Well, they was raised in Klamath Falls, and they worked in the mill, but they go on vacation, and they spent a lot of time in the mountains of Oregon. And so out towards Bly, over into the mountains, towards Paisley and that area, up towards Campbell Lake and Dead Horse, he knew every stream, and he knew every river, and all those streams, he knew what fly to use. He knew what, that kind of fly that we always fly fished, and he knew what during what time of the season that this fly will work this time of the year, and this fly will work this time of the year, and he taught me how to fly fish. Just like fishing those beaver dams. Okay, well, the beaver dams, these beavers would build dams, and the fish would grow in there, and they get, for mountain fish, they get up to about 9, 10, 12 inches long. But you had to crawl up to those beaver dams, and then you had to lay that fly in there just right. And if you slapped the water with the line, it would scare the fish, and then the fish would run off. So you had to lay that fly right in there to make that fish think that was natural. Now, I didn't eat the fish myself, okay? So I wouldn't eat the fish, but Donna would eat the fish, and her mom would eat the fish, and everybody that in church would eat the fish. And so, when the kids got old enough, we'd send them up, and they would come and get the fish and take them back, or we'd take a load of fish in just so we didn't get caught with so many fish, because we'd have so many fish. But I wouldn't eat the fish. I was raised in the hills of Virginia, and there was lots of foods that I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat corn and peas. I remember my brother Clifford tried to make me eat corn when I must have been about 8 or 9 years old. And I remember him sitting at the table, and he sat there for 2 hours trying to make me eat corn because I wouldn't eat corn. There was lots of foods I would not eat. I wouldn't eat a lot of meat, which they didn't understand. I mean, when you're the guy, chopping the chicken's head off and help plucking the feathers off, I can still smell that today. There's just certain foods I wouldn't touch. And in fact, he found out I was just as stubborn as he was. I wouldn't eat the corn, okay? And then I wouldn't eat the squirrel at all. I mean, I would squirrel hunt. I'd go out from my mom. I would kill squirrels. I'd come back at a very young age, and I would gut the squirrel, skin the squirrel, okay? But my mom then would take the squirrel and she would fix it for breakfast and she'd put it in the gravy. So they had to make me a separate gravy. Her and Dad would be eating. The other kids were already going away from home. And so they would make me a different, batch of gravy myself, but then they would eat the squirrel out of the gravy, okay? So I would not eat the squirrel, okay? I would crack open the head of the squirrel and eat the squirrel brains, okay? It's like, okay, I just don't know if I can handle this. So I'd open the refrigerator door during hog season. That's when you slaughtered the hogs, or harvest the hogs is a term we use today. And there'd be a big hog head sitting inside the refrigerator looking at me, okay? And Mom and them would mush up the brains or something, I don't know, and they thought that was a real delicacy to eat, okay, because they're living off the land. Okay, I mean, that might sound whatever. So I wouldn't eat those foods. And so Donna one day, she said, I think maybe I was adopted. And I said, You think that's something? I think somebody stole me. In fact, I said, I think they stole me from somebody in Northern Virginia because I don't eat like a bunch of hillbillies. I don't eat this way, okay? I don't eat the food they're doing. So we laughed about it and went on, obviously. We both knew that we were raised and a great mom and a great dad, okay? But what the devil will do, during fly season, he will find some fly that you will bite. And I mean, I could catch rivers out of the rivers up there. I would be able to catch fish. I'd have people come running and see me fishing and catching fish. And they'd been fishing, they couldn't catch any. And they would watch what I was doing. Well, my brother-in-law is the one that taught me. He taught me what fly to use, how to lay that fly in there, how to use a wet fly to fish it like a dry fly, and how to let it sink, and how to pull it out at the right time, and then let it float across the do as a regular dry fly. Then for the regular streams, how to lay it all in there so that the fish would think it's natural. And that's what the devil does to you. You don't know that it's a bait that he's using to get you into strife. You don't know that he's done something to somebody to irritate them, to get them to steal from you, to get them to lie about you, to get them to say things to you that will provoke you, just to get you into strife so that it opens a door so he can take you captive at his will. That's what you have to be. You're going to feel the strife. I mean, Jesus was tempted in all like fashion as we were, but the difference between being tempted, in other words, you might be tempted to take a drink of Jack Daniels, okay, well, or some type of something. But as long as you don't drink it, you haven't fallen into the temptation. There's a difference in being tempted and falling into the temptation. And Jesus was tempted, which means it wouldn't be a temptation if you didn't feel it. So you're going to feel the temptation of strife. You can feel strife, just like you can feel laughter. I get tickled because people like Johnny Carson's, the old Johnny Carson shows, if you remember Johnny Carson at all, they would hire people to sit in the audience to laugh at his stories because laughter is contagious. They would laugh, and then other people would laugh, and it would be contagious. Well, not only can you feel laughter and joy, you can feel joy. You can feel love. You can also feel strife. You can feel strife. You can feel fear and strife. So the devil then, he will throw that fly out there trying to get you to hit it, and if that doesn't work, he'll find something else. And the reason that he does that is so that you get into a place to where you open the door to where he can take you captive at his will. I mean, you don't want to be in that place because where there's strife, there'll be confusion and every evil work. And every evil work is every sickness, disease. So once you shut that out, once you make a decision, I'm not going to go there, then you will find your prayers will work much easier. You will find, you say, well, it's just natural for my family to be moody. Yeah. Probably that devil's been working on generational curses in your family probably for generations. I know that to be true because that's one of the sayings that we used to have with our family. That's just a McFall trait, okay? That stubbornness, that moodiness, that, whatever it was going on, whatever that temper, whatever it was, those kind of things, yeah, they come down through generations and it's demonic. Now, you might not perceive it as being demonic. And that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants you to think that he's not there working. Well, see, once Jesus appeared to me in 1975, it opened up the spirit realm, and I seen things only when he showed me. It shows me things. I don't see in the spirit realm, and so I see this, and, goblins over here, and, demonic things over here, and angels standing over here. Only when he opens it up do I see it. And occasionally he has showed me angels. Occasionally he showed me different things that's happening over parts of cities, different areas over people's lives, different things at an operation, especially when it comes time praying for people, he will open a door and let me see something. And so I've seen many things since then. And I'm amazed how real the spirit realm is. It's a real realm. And so you have a demonic force that is working. And so according to John 10:10, Satan came to steal, cheat, and destroy. Jesus came to give you life and give you life abundantly. So the difference between the devil and God is the devil came to cheat, steal, and kill. Cheat, steal, and kill. And the devil then is just trying to set you up by getting you into trouble with somebody, and you won't even have a clue. You won't even know that it's him. Those fish that I caught, they thought they were hitting a fly. They just thought that was natural. And that's what I learned to do from my brother-in-law. I learned to lay it out there so it was natural. It had to, when we hit that beaver dam, that fly had to float in there, just float right down, had to float. If you slapped the water, you might as well get your line and going up the creek. because they won't hit it because they're wild. It's just like fish in the river over there. They have a river called the Shewalcan. I used to get down towards Paisley, and I would get in the sagebrush where the rattlesnakes were because my brother-in-law convinced me that the wild trout could hear your footsteps. And some of the other streams up there, I would do the same thing. Okay, you got to love to fish to get down with the rattlesnakes and crawl through the sagebrush where you knew there were rattlesnakes down there. Okay, why was I doing that? So that the fish wouldn't see me and they wouldn't hear me. I'm the guy that always caught a lot of fish. Okay, I would ease myself through there and then get down and crawl and not let them see me, not let nothing reflection, and then I'd make sure that I walked softly so they couldn't do it. And that's what the devil does. He walks softly around you. He hides, doesn't know that it's him, and that's what he wants you to do. In fact, when I was in 2 Corinthians, it said the prince of this world would not have crucified the Lord of glory if they had known. Well, I thought a Roman soldier crucified him, but it was the prince of this world that crucified him. And what the devil will do is he'll get you to focus on the Roman soldier. He'll get you to focus on the person causing you the pain. You say, I didn't do nothing wrong. Obviously, it was unjustifiable what they're doing to you. It's not right what's been done to you. But that's what the devil will do, is he will get somebody to turn on you, to lie on you, to cheat from you, to steal from you, to do his best to hurt you or your family, so that your prayers won't work. I mean, if I need to stop your prayers from working to get you in trouble with God, because if you don't forgive, God doesn't forgive, to get you over there, what the devil will do is get somebody to do you wrong. And you didn't cause it. You're not the one that caused it. But the devil will get you over there in that unforgiveness just so that he can have access to your life. And you won't even have a clue. You think it's just, oh, that's just who they are. I mean, I can't stand them because of what they've done to me. You probably can't. And probably was set up by the devil to get you over in that area. So forgiveness can be tough. I'm not going to lie to you. But I will tell you, with the blood of Jesus has the ability to empower you to forgive and release people. That's why Jesus said, turn the other cheek. That's why he said, if they take your coat, give them the cloak. Do not get in strife and open the door to the devil. He's looking out for you. And the way that he was looking out for you is to telling you, do not get in to strife, because you do not want to be taken captive by the devil at his will. That means, in other words, he could bring some type of flu. He could bring some type of sickness. He could bring even, problems that you wouldn't even recognize. I remember Jesus, Peter's mother-in-law was sick, and she was running a temperature, and he rebuked the fever. Now, fevers obviously are God's mechanism inside of you to kill viruses. I mean, they've tried to emulate that through different kinds of viruses. They tried that even with the AIDS viruses, from what I understand, is they tried to figure out how to heat up the blood the way that your body would heat it up to be able to kill the virus. And so it's your body's mechanism to kill the virus. People who know that will go stand in hot showers. I know doctors that go stand in hot showers trying to get their body hot enough to help kill the virus. And the old way, they used to put them like in a room and heat the room up to where they almost suffocated them and kill them almost with the heat, trying to make it work with them that way. But what Jesus done, he rebuked it as a spirit, okay? I was surprised that he rebuked it as a demonic, rebuke that fever to make it leave. And so primarily, a lot of things that are sickness are not all the time natural things. Obviously, if you got broken arm, whatever, it's not a broken arm devil. Not everything's a devil. And I don't intend to insinuate that. But what I am telling you is the devil's probably one that tripped you to make you fall. And because you got angels that's supposed to be watching out for you so that you don't even dash your foot against a stone. But if that's not working, then what you need to do is you need to check your areas of forgiveness. And if you can't walk in forgiveness, you're going to find yourself in trouble. 2 little books I have right here. I just noticed that this book here was way low. Imagination is going around the world. You don't want to miss this. This book will change your life. I'm telling you, I'm not just trying to sell you the book, but this book, the reason I bring this up is because you've got to be able to find scriptures. Finding scriptures in the Word of God is vitally important to you. And then this book right here, God Can Change Your Heart. This is an amazing book. It will set you free, and it's what has to do with forgiveness. This is the one that basically I'm dealing with a little bit right now. We're getting into it. We haven't quite got into it yet. We're just getting the strife out of the way, okay? And the reason that we're doing that is because there's no sense me teaching you anything else if you're not going to get out of strife. Especially, you think, well, I didn't cause all these problems. You probably didn't. I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you're not it's unjustifiable towards you. But this book and these books right here in the last couple of days have been really, Amazon had just went down way low in their numbers. I mean, like they're rated, which is really good. That's really an amazing. They've been published this one here's been published. And again, I just want to make sure that when you do something for me, if you'll do that as a favor, go to Amazon and write out a small report. I've seen that somebody just done that with a little bit. If you'll do that, I appreciate that. Write out, just give a comment, go to the Amazon, go to this book here, go all the way to the bottom left-hand corner, and you'll find out about leaving a comment. Just leave a couple words or leave a paragraph if you want to, and leave some things like that. That would help. And then make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it there. And what that will do is that will help us then to take this message around the world. Because one of the things that the church world has not understood yet is the strife business. And that's what amazes me. I mean, you can go to church and they'll kick you out if you're, if you go in the front row and I've lit up a big cigar, and I don't smoke a cigar, but I'm using that as an example, they would kick me out the door. But now I could get into strife on their side, know that I joined their side against somebody else. And see, that's the problem. You'll take sides. That's the danger. Some of you are just so politically stupid. That's all I got to say, because that'll get you in trouble. Okay, you need to be able to pray for people, stand for people, and then shut up. Listen to God and pray for people and love people. You're required to pray for the leaders of Russia and China. You might not even, regardless of what you think, that's your job to do, according to 2 Timothy. That's what you're called to do. You're to pray for these leaders, not curse them and beat them up, whatever. Your job is to stand so your faith will work so God can use you. And if you want to be an intercessor so God can use you, you need to get that out of your heart. And so again, going back to this part here, you need to make sure that you don't get into strife over politics. You don't get into strife over whatever. Leave people alone. Just love people. And if you walk in love, you'll walk in God. And if you're not walking in love, I guarantee you're not walking in God. I guarantee you, if you don't walk in love, you don't know God. Well, you're born again. If you die, you'll go to heaven. But I'm talking about here on earth. So when I find ministers always, justifying their abilities to find fault with everybody else, I leave that to God. I had God tell me one time, so he said, listen, I don't need no judges. I need some doctors who will take that oath. A doctor takes an oath that they will help you regardless of if you're crazy or drunk or whatever, okay? They're there to help you regardless of the faults in your life, okay? Whatever they may be. They've taken an oath to do that. And God told me, I don't need any more judges. I've got that under control. I need some doctors. I need some physicians. I need some people willing to love people. And the amazing part is, if you want to run around with Jesus and you want to hear from God and you want to have results in God, then you need to let go of those areas of strife. You don't want to be taken captive by the devil at his will. I'm amazed when I get around people. I can tell they really don't know Jesus because they're still finding fault with somebody. They're still talking craziness. They're still talking whatever, and they don't know that. And it's not my job to correct everybody. My job is to give you the word, and then you have to make that change. Okay, so here's the point. You got to walk in love. You need to purge yourself and make a decision. You're going to walk strife-free so you don't get taken captive by the devil at his will. And you don't get in trouble with God by not forgiving, because if you don't forgive, he doesn't forgive. And if you're going to get there and you're never going to sin again, then maybe you can get unforgiveness, okay? If you're never going to sin, never again, maybe you can walk in unforgiveness because God's not going to forgive you, and you don't need his forgiveness. Well, we know that's stupid because we all know we're going to miss the mark, okay? You're going to miss it again, and you're going to need forgiveness. And if you want forgiveness, then you got to be willing to forgive and make sure that you're not getting into strife while you're doing it. Because that's what will happen. If you get into strife, you'll get in unforgiveness. Hey, I'm glad that I was with you. I just want you to make that decision. You're going to change. You're going to make a decision. I'm going to get out of strife. And then share this message with somebody. Take your Facebook page and share it. If you go to YouTube, this will be on YouTube here within the next little bit. Okay, it'll be on YouTube. Go to YouTube and like it. Make a comment there. It's important that you do it and then watch it. Turn it on and go in the other room if you want to. I need you to watch it, okay, and hear it. You can hear it in the other room. You don't have to watch it right there. That's the thing about, these kind of areas of deal. Make a decision you're going to do that. I'll tell you what, again, make sure that you like it. Thank you.